Hi guys, welcome back to the Bachelor Tea Party. My name is Lauren Herbert and I'm filling in for Zuri Hall this Thanksgiving week, but of course we are still joined by Ashley Iaconetti. Haibon. Hi Ashley. Hi. And this week we also have Blake Horstmann. Hi Blake. We got to say
hi, how are you? Thanks for having me.
We're going to be talking about last night's episode of The Bachelorette. From Tayshia's heartfelt and deep date with Ivan to everything that went down with Noah to Tayshia abruptly ending the cocktail party. We are breaking it all down. Let's get started. So the episode starts off with Bennett, Ivan, Blake, Riley, Demar, Kenny, and Zach competing for this unbelievable romantic one-on-one with Tayshia, and their challenge is to write an original song and perform it. I mean, it's kind of turns into this tone-deaf nightmare, but give me your thoughts on this challenge for them competing for this one-on-one.
Yeah, so I actually love the idea of the competition aspect of the, you have to write a song, sing it, and then Tayshia, not anybody else, but Tayshia gets to pick who to take on that one-on-one based on the date. So I like the competition aspect, but I actually wrote a song on my season and sang it, and it is hard to do. It is so, especially if you're not musically talented at all.
Can you believe how often they recycle this date?
I know.
It's okay because it is funny, it's entertaining, and it's a challenge for sure. I like the fact that she allowed the competition to determine who went on the date. Ivan, of course, stood out because he was the only one who pulled Tasha up. I also thought Demar had a cute song, and he showed the most talent, I think, of all of them. But yeah I think Ivan was the obvious choice there.
Yeah, I agree that mocha latte song that he sang, it was funny, and he was actually he had a little talent, he was musically inclined a little bit, but I think Evan's lyrics really spoke to Tayshia, and that's why she chose him at the end.
Yeah, exactly. Which then led to this this really deep conversation that they had. So I do want to know your thoughts on that because they ended up talking about the Black Lives Matter movement. And I think a lot of viewers might have not expected that, but honestly, I feel like it was something that needed to be said and talked about on this franchise.
I loved it. I thought it was so well done. They just let that conversation breathe. It unfolded naturally. It went from his family to his brother into the Black Lives Matter movement. It was so emotional, but it felt so real. It truly felt like we were peering into a date that we weren't even supposed to see. It felt more real than anything. And I think it's because there was something culturally topical, and normally the Bachelor's timestamp, there is no timestamp unless you look at outfits and makeup and hair, right? And I think it just felt like, oh my gosh, these are two people getting to know each other when something like this came up. So I think it was completely refreshing, and I'm so glad. I think they should incorporate more of that.
Yeah, I agree. I think the show handled it really well. And, the show, for all its ups and downs and all its, faults and everything, they actually, they do talk about hard things every once in a while. There's the jokes, there's the fun drama, but then every once in a while they have these super serious moments that really connect, viewers can connect to. I remember Caitlin had her sexual assault story, and I thought they did a great job with that. My school shooting, my season, me talking about that. I think the show actually does a very good job on talking about drama or not drama, I shouldn't say drama, but on talking about issues like this. And I thought it was fantastic. Tayshia almost seemed like she was almost, as she was talking about it, you could see her how surprised she even was by the way she was reacting. And so you could almost see her work through it as she was talking about it. And so, I think it's so great that ABC kept all that in. They didn't edit that out. And that was something that they stood by. So I thought it was great.
And Ivan he didn't seem worried about talking about it at all.
No. Yeah, he was. Yeah. And his story about his family and everything was heartbreaking. Wow. Whew, I was getting tears
also that. And I feel like it was this really real date. So where do you guys think they stand at the end of this one-on-one? Do you think he is now maybe a front runner with Tayshia, or thoughts on that?
Yeah. So even before the really, intense and amazing conversation, the date itself was amazing. It seemed so normal and so just ordinary, which I love. They went back to her hotel room. They played lava. They had a pillow fight, So I loved the whole date, not just the end. And I think Ivan now, for me, he definitely shot up the ranks, and I think he's definitely up there, and maybe the top 3 or 4. And I think it's the same with Tayshia.
I was going to say top 5-ish. We'll see how it plays out. I mean, us as the audience love Ivan. She loves Ivan. I think like it's just a matter of seeing if there's like intense romantic chemistry there. They obviously just like understand each other very well. But yeah, going off of what Blake said, I think that they're learning that the audience loves these real, relatable dates that they had to come up with because of a certain circumstance in quarantine. But maybe we'll see more of this because we're not getting like the oohs and ahs and like not the fake excitement, but the over the top, like, can you believe we're doing this today? Can you believe we're here? That's like, we don't care about that. Like, we care about seeing the conversations, and we get to see more conversations this way.
No, I am here for this low budget date. Like, just take out all the fanciness of it.
Yeah.
Totally.
It makes it more real. But I do want to talk about the group date because it was on the other spectrum. It was a lot. It was over the top. We had Beck and Sydney show up and play this wild game of truth or dare with a serious twist. Blake, what did you think of all the challenges?
I loved it. I'm a huge Fear Factor guy, so I loved like I'd say I'll like, eat everything once. Like I'll try something once. So like I loved the smoothie and the peppers. I thought that was really funny. And the like orgasm, the 60-second orgasm or whatever that was over the loudspeakers of the hotel. I thought it was brilliant. Watching the other guys like listen to this, like what is happening? I thought it was amazing. I loved it.
I agree. Challenge dates usually don't get me, but yeah, bring a little Fear Factor into it. I'm all about it.
Yeah. Totally.
And I also loved the proposals. Like, I thought they actually did a really good job. I'm like, if I just ate that spicy pepper, no way in heck I would be able to confess my love for someone, you know?
I know. And truly, Bennett did a great job with that proposal. It was super heartfelt. And then I love his reaction afterward where we got to see him break his character a little bit. He got teary. He maybe cut himself short a bit, but I think that we saw a glimmer of what real Bennett's like.
Yeah,
which
I
I'm
agree.
here for.
Yeah, same. I'm here for that. Because, I think he's putting on a bit of he's playing a character in a way, he's playing that character.
We all think it's fun to a certain extent. I think it's around this week where he needs to start departing.
And I think he did a good job. Yeah, I think he did a good job. I agree. I think he could open up a little bit more. Like, I think he kind of held back a little bit, but it was more than we've seen of that side of Bennett all season.
Yeah, because we also saw then Tayshia connecting with him, and then we also saw Tayshia really connecting with Zach. Do you guys what?
Okay, so yes and no. I was expecting big things from the Zach moment because I just sense their chemistry. I know how like her moments with Zach are big deals, right? So when they're in that hot tub, I was waiting and waiting for it, and I felt something, but I didn't hear something. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I agree. Zach's hard to read a little bit. I don't know if maybe he's a little awkward in front of the camera or he doesn't feel comfortable, but I almost feel like he's kind of holding back a little, like. And that's intriguing, Tayshia. Like, I feel like Tayshia's kind of like, okay, he's not like all in yet. It kind of feels that way. I could be wrong, but that's the way I feel. But yeah, Zach seems to be, I don't know if the right word is awkward, but he just doesn't seem to be himself really yet in front of the cameras and in that environment yet.
But
do you think he's just nervous, or is he not as into Tayshia?
No,
that's the $1 million question. Yeah.
I think he's into her. I think there's something very strong there. I predict he's like top 3.
Yeah, I think he's going pretty far too. Just by the way she speaks to him and speaks about him.
Okay, I think it's finally time to go to our throwing shade portion where we break down the shadiest moments from the night. And honestly, it all surrounds Noah. He basically seals the deal of his status of this season's villain. Tell me, like he does. He's basically like, I'm the villain.
Okay, so I think I'm going to agree with Ashley here. You go first, Ashley, because I think I'm going to agree with you.
I think this is so ridiculous. He cannot be this season's villain. There's not a true villain amongst this bunch, which is why they're trying to make it seem like he is. Up until this point, nothing he's done is villainous. Literally, they were like, does anybody want to fill in for Ed? He said yes. Of course he did. Why wouldn't other guys say yes? Then Tayshia asked him on the date, like to stay on the date. Then he did something really cute, shaved the mustache, that interactive, amazing one-on-one time they had, got him the group date rose. All of that on Tayshia, okay? The guys had no reason to be angry at him. Now, if he did start making things up, and saying, oh, the other guys think that I got this rose because you're trying to stir the pot. And he just out of thin air came up with that theory. Then, okay, we could start thinking about him being a little villainous. I think that they're just getting on him because there's no one else to get on.
I agree. Up to this point, like I said, up to this point, I was like, why do the guys not like Noah? I don't understand. Like, he's done nothing wrong. Of course, he's going to take an opportunity to hop in and wrestle and get go on a group date. And then, like, the mustache thing, I think most of it was jealousy. Like, I think the guys are a little angry that he's gotten a lot of time with Tayshia. So I think, up to this point, but agreed. Like, if this was strategic on his part and he went to Tayshia and he said this to get the date or to get the cocktail, kind of cut short, then that's a villain move.
Yeah, that's bad.
That is. And the guys, the way they reacted to him was interesting because they swore that they never said any of the things that, he said. So I don't know. We'll see. But right now, I agree. Like, he's maybe a kind of a villain. And that was just after the last 15 minutes of that episode,
But part of me is also like, would he really make it up out of thin air and screw himself over like that? Like, yes, it made it, watching him as that scene unfolded, it was like, oh, I didn't know this was going to be as big of a deal. But still, yeah.
No, I agree. Yeah.
I mean, if this is true, if he was right, I also want to give Tayshia credit for the way she responded, because if guys were saying that stuff, then she has every right to go off on them.
Yeah. And sometimes especially with the Bachelorette, sometimes the guys, they almost get like super close and really good friends, and they will kind of like band together and almost like talk about the Bachelorette, and it's not always a super positive thing. So I think Tayshia handled that great. Like, I think she went in there, she put her foot down, and she's like, we're done, see you at the rose ceremony, which I liked. So
So we need to also talk about Bennett then. So do you think he's just over there stirring the pot? If we're not really thinking Noah is this true villain that Bennett is saying that he is, and other guys are saying that he is.
Yeah, it's hard for me. I like Bennett. I think he's hilarious. But like last night, he went from being the guy we wanted to see, like he opened up a little more, and then went right back into that character. And I felt like he was, it's funny to a degree, like he was really condescending to Noah.
The breastfeeding line.
The
breastfeeding line was so good.
Okay.
So good.
In the ITM. Yeah. But then he also was like, what did he say? I was like, there's 4 something of love or whatever, and you're deficient in 3. And I was like, oh, like that was such a like condescending, like, but smart, witty way to like, to bash on him. So I thought it was pretty funny.
It does seem like Bennett does like to get a little bit into the drama.
Mm-hmm.
But, who doesn't like a little drama?
I mean, we need drama, though. Like, as a viewer, I'm like, bring on the drama, Bennett. Like, keep these one-liners coming.
Yeah, this episode didn't have any until, like, the last 15 minutes. Yeah, so it was a lot. It was a little different.
Which I actually loved. I think I think that's what we love. I think we're like, give us good conversation, give us funny, like that second group date, and then give us a little drama at the end. It was perfect ratio throughout.
This is one of my favorite episodes I've seen in a long time. I'm not gonna lie. From like serious conversation, the funny, the innocent funny, and then like the kind of little bit of drama, like you said. Yeah, it was one of my favorite episodes in a while.
Me too. When I was watching the screener, I was like, I was tracking over, the time I had left because I didn't want it to end. I was like, oh, I have 20 minutes left. Yes.
That's a good sign. Yeah, that's a good sign. Yeah.
Just because it was more real, you think?
Yeah.
That's what I think. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Another little thing to add just about why I think this episode excelled and why I think there's been some really sparkling moments throughout the season. Chris Harrison, a whole other side of him
killing the cameo.
We, the cast, get to see, but like the audience never gets to see, and all they think he does is like, this is the final rose, and he's buttoned up and says here, it's like, no, what you're seeing now is way more Chris.
Yeah, agreed. He almost is like, he's like acting this season. Like, I love it. I feel like he's not exactly, he's got more to him. And again, this is only because they're in La Quinta. Like, I don't think this would have happened on a normal season. So hopefully they kind of they get Chris a little bit more in future seasons, because I think his cameos have been hilarious. I want to know if Chris knew Ed was coming, or if the producers were like, let's go wake up Chris at 2:30 in the morning and send Ed over there. Like,
he had to have known. He was probably like, this is going to be hilarious. Bring it on.
Speaking of Ed, we're going to move into our round of playing roses or thorns. We're going to name some moments from the show, and if you liked it, give it a rose. And if you didn't like it so much, give it a thorn. Okay, we're going to start out with Ed showing up at Chris Harrison's door really late at night, early in the morning, thinking it was Tayshia. What do you think? 1, 2, 3.
Rose.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it the rose. I thought it was hilarious. Yeah.
I mean, they can't even get on us for being like, this was a produced move.
Yeah.
Because of course it was. It was just silly. It was funny. They told him to go to the wrong room. And Ed is like I don't know what the word is, but he's just, he doesn't look at them and be like, what the heck did you do to me? He's like,
he's played along. Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
He kind of played along.
The bloopers at the end, I was like, I just want to see more of this.
Yeah.
Right. And the music, the awkward music they were playing over it, like it was well done by the editing team and the producers. Yeah, it was good.
It was so good. Okay, so the next one, Ben gets the room right, and he surprises Tayshia at her door after feeling a little insecure about last week. So 1, 2, 3.
Rose,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that conversation was good, and I think it was needed because I know Tayshia's into Ben by the way she reacted when he didn't come get her, and so I think Ben, I think he handled that well, and he was honest, and I think it was a good conversation.
Yeah, to play devil's advocate, Ben Higgins yesterday on our podcast said that like you don't like keep them up. They're exhausted. It's 2:30. You let them go to bed. I was like,
damn, it's true. I never thought about that.
I was like, I understand that as you as a lead talking, but there are certain people in your group that you would stay up to any time for. And
if that was Ed, walking in, maybe she was angry, but I think she didn't mind that Ben was walking in.
Yeah.
Do you think Tayshia really had no idea, or like, do you think she was warned a little? Because she looked great for 2:30 in the morning.
From what I've heard, they just tell the like, stay up. There's something else happening. They don't tell them what, but they're like, stay up.
Yeah. And I think she probably just got back from that group date. Around 2:30 sounds about a time that you like put your pajamas on, but like keep your makeup on.
Yeah, totally.
Very late night. Very late night.
They're all very late. Yes.
Harrison tweeted yesterday. People were like, "Oh my God, 2:30." He's like, 2:30 is like noon in Bachelor.
Yeah, for real, it is. It's crazy how long those nights are.
Yeah,
that is wild. Okay, so our third one. Bennett saying that arguing with Noah is like fighting with a 14-year-old. 1, 2, 3.
I'm going to say Rose. I didn't think I'd go all 3 roses, but.
See, I'll give it a thorn just because, like, for all the vocabulary and all the wittiness that we get from Bennett, that was a weak one.
That's a good point, actually. Of
all
the other ones. Yeah, of all the other ones.
Line would have gotten Rose.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah.
Okay, so last one. Joe being sent home. 1, 2, 3.
Thorn.
I was so sad about it.
We finally get some screen time with him last episode, and then he's not in this episode, and then he gets sent home. It's like, damn.
Yeah. I got to meet him when we were down there, and he's so sweet. My dad's an anesthesiologist, so I was like, you're an anesthesiologist. It was a cool bonding moment. I think we need to see more of him in Paradise.
Yeah, he'll definitely be in Paradise.
I mean, he'll definitely be in Paradise, but like, give the doctor a little bit more time.
And I always look at like all these guys like Instagrams, and I'm not gonna lie, I judge them off their Instagrams a lot. And Joe's Instagram is so just him. Like, it was just so innocent, and like he has like pictures of being a doctor, and like his mom. Like last night he had a picture of his mom up. I was like, I don't know, I liked it. I thought it was great.
And what he said last week, he was like, I don't know, you're just a good guy. You're a nice guy. Boxing, so cute.
I'm a lover, not a fighter.
He's so cute. I could see him being the Bachelor.
I mean, I could too, but I think like he's the kind of guy that we need to get more screen time in Paradise and become a real fan favorite from there to move on.
Yeah, and I don't know, it's hard. You can't be the nicest guy in the world to be a bachelor. You can't. I mean, you're breaking up with 29 people. It'd be really hard to be a super nice guy, as nice as Joe is, and break up with 29 girls. So.
Well, that wraps up for this episode of Bachelor Tea Party. Make sure you tune in next week to watch us break down the craziest moments of The Bachelorette. I wish everyone a happy and safe and healthy Thanksgiving. Bye, guys.